This is Lesson 1 in a series about the basic design and setup of home theater systems. In this lesson, Speaker Placement, we will deal with the proper placement of your loudspeakers. Harman International sound systems have been designed for places like the Sydney Opera House, the Vienna Opera House, and the Walt Disney Performance Hall. Today, we will share with you some design principles used in performance halls around the world and that have been adopted for use in home theaters just like yours. The first loudspeakers that you will want to place in your room will be the front left and right speakers. These speakers should be placed on either side of your TV screen, a minimum of 6 feet apart. The placement of these speakers should form an angle between 45 and 60 degrees from speaker to speaker, in relation to where the main listener is seated. If your speakers are too close, you will lose the imaging or placement of different sounds across the front soundstage. You can also lose the feeling of motion or movement of the sound as it moves from one side of the room to the other. Conversely, you will also want to keep your speakers away from the corners and floor. The center channel is the most important loudspeaker because in movies it does more than 80% of the work, and in television it does even more. For music recordings, the center channel speaker reproduces the voice of the person on the album cover. If the center channel does not sound good, then the sound of the entire system will suffer. The presence of the center channel keeps the center image fixed, no matter where the listener may sit in the room. Looking at the front 3 speakers of your home theater system, the tweeters should be about ear level to the listener. You will want to place these speakers as close to the same horizontal plane as possible. This horizontal plane for your front speakers should not vary by more than 2 feet. Here is an example of what it would look like when you place your center channel below your TV screen. Notice that the front left and right speakers are within 2 feet of the horizontal plane of the center speaker. In some situations, you will find it necessary to place your center channel speaker above your TV screen. This is an acceptable solution, but you will probably want to tilt the center channel down a little and then move your front left and right speakers up just a bit to make sure that they maintain the 2-foot horizontal plane. Here is an example of bad speaker placement across the front. Notice that the distance is greater than the 2-foot horizontal plane boundary. This placement will produce a disjointed soundstage across the front. The sound that should be moving left to right would also appear to be moving from top to bottom. If you have a video projector, you may consider placing the front 3 speakers on the exact same horizontal plane. This can provide you with a seamless front channel experience. To make this work, it is very important that your projection screen is a perforated screen. Any other type will place a sonic barrier in the way of the center channel. This will alter the tonal quality and greatly reduce the realism of your entertainment experience. Here are a few basic rules for the placement of your front channel speakers. 1. Place the left and right speakers at a 45 to 60 degree angle in relation to the listening area. 2. Keep away from the corners and floor. 3. Provide for an equal acoustical environment across the front, with all 3 speakers within a 2-foot variance on the horizontal plane. 4. Place tweeters at about ear level, usually about 40 inches above the floor. 5. Do not place speakers on their side unless they are designed to be set up in this fashion. Let's now look at the surround speakers. One of the most common mistakes made in the placement of these loudspeakers is placing them on the back wall or directly behind the listener. This is incorrect. The left and right surround channels should be on either side of the listeners. The reason is that only in these locations can they properly create the desired sense of space and envelopment that movies and music benefit from. A better explanation is that for us to hear these effects, the sound arriving at the 2 ears must be different, and loudspeakers located to our side have the best chance of delivering such sounds. If there is only a single row of listeners, place the loudspeakers slightly behind as shown in this diagram. There is some room for experimentation because the room will always be the final component. Let's take a look at a 7.1 surround sound system. A very common question is, what is the advantage of 7.1 system over a 5.1 system? There are three main advantages of a 7.1 system configuration over a 5.1 system. 1. You will get a larger sweet spot with a 7.1 system. This means that more people in the room will enjoy the experience. 2. 7.1 creates a much more enveloping surround sound environment. 3. You will experience better steering of the sound throughout the room. In this diagram, you are looking down at the sound field of a 5.1 system. The red area represents the sweet spot. The best sound experience will occur within this sweet spot. Now look at the second diagram. The red area, the sweet spot, is much larger. Anyone sitting within this red area will have a superior home theater experience. The rear surround speakers are placed along the back wall to maximize the sense of spaciousness and envelopment generated by the speakers. It is good to not have the same angle separation between the front left and right speakers as you have for the rear left and right surround speakers. The surround speakers should generally be placed about 2 to 3 feet above the listener's head. One exception to this rule would be if you are planning to listen to only multi-channel music through your system. Then you might find it more appealing to place the surround speakers closer to ear level. It is generally not a good idea to place your speakers in the ceiling or high up on the wall unless there is no way to avoid it. However, special JBL and Infinity in-ceiling speakers are available for use as surrounds if this cannot be avoided. Sometimes, due to the listening location, a 7.1 system does not offer the best performance, even if it is preferred. A good example of this is when the listening location backs up against a wall. In this case, a well-designed 5.1 system will actually offer better performance due to the ability to place the surround speakers in more desirable locations in the corners. The only speaker that is left for us to put in place in our home theater system is the subwoofer. The placement of the subwoofer is so critical to the overall performance of a surround sound system that we are going to devote an entire lesson to just this subject. Please be sure to look for Lesson 2 entitled Bass Management and the Subwoofer. This concludes Lesson 1.